Hello and welcome back to Breakfast Central. It's time for us to review the newspapers and see what the papers are saying. But remember that you can react to any of the stories we're going to be taking this morning by sharing with us your standpoint at News Central TV on all social media platforms. We begin this morning with the Punch newspaper here in Nigeria. On the front page of the Punch newspaper, the big story says, federal government may spend 3.27 trillion naira on palliatives loans. 15 million households to get 1.13 trillion naira for 3 months. 125 billion naira for MSMEs and others. Wow. This is a story we're going to be talking about this morning. People with disabilities demand more palliatives from Sanwo-Olu. Kwara IDPs get relief materials. Nightclub workers face prosecution for assaulting LASEPA officials. Editors invite Tinubu to discuss economic crisis at Uyo conference. Pastor, 3 others caught with human skull in Ogun. That's a very interesting, weird story. And then we have Israel, Hamas, Pope, China, UK demand end to civilian casualties. You know, this is another story that a number of people have asked exactly. I mean, what we've seen is different people taking different sides. Depending on the side you support, the report has also been, the story is being reported in different measures. Those in support of Israel reporting it from one standpoint, those in support of Palestine reporting it from another standpoint. But we just want to say an end to civilian casualties, because when they say that when the 2 elephants are fighting, it's the grass that suffers, and it's the people here, the people of Israel, the people of Palestine, that have to bear the brunt of what's happening, and it's just really unfortunate. Tinubu swears in new ministers as FEC meets today. Naira under pressure. Nigeria may seek dollar loan according to IMF. Whoa, there we go again. So what exactly can they do to remove the pressure that the Naira is facing? They have tried all measures, from unification of the exchange rates, of the unification of the markets, parallel markets and the black markets. They tried removing subsidy. There's nothing that hasn't been done, but it seems that the Naira keeps plummeting. So what exactly can we do at this point? The new CBN governor has been asked to increase the CBN rate. At this point, I myself am confused. They did loan for oil exchange a while ago. The loan, I don't
think that money came.
Yeah, I don't know if it came in, to be honest. So at this point, I'm a bit confused. Yeah, I'm really confused.
There's a couple of things that the most basic really are to increase production, and the level of exports that we're currently doing. We're over reliant on importation and over reliant on the US dollar, and so it's going to be hard. They maybe could also have reduced the stealing of Nigeria's crude so that we can have more crude to sell, and earn more, income. A couple of these things, I believe, but I don't know if there is any faith in the current administration to be able to pull it off, as it seems. But of course, there's other things here. The federal government may spend 3.27 trillion on palliatives and loans, which of course once again brings you back to question whether the current Nigerian government understands how Nigeria needs to stop wasting money. We do not have a revenue problem, we have a spending problem. I know someone who always tweets that. It's not because of revenue, it is how we spend it. The National Assembly is currently defending buying Toyota SUVs for members of the House.
Yes,
there was
people
a report
are
about
suffering.
160 million naira that was going to be paid for each vehicle.
I don't want to believe that. I'm waiting for them to come out.
They have confirmed it. They have confirmed that there is that plan, but what they are saying is that it's going through the regular procurement process that is legalized. And that happens, with each National Assembly, and so it's nothing that it's nothing out of the ordinary that each National Assembly does it. They've also mentioned that National Assembly members, because they need to reach House of Rep members, because they need to reach their communities where they represent, and
so they need these expensive vehicles.
Yes, so they need very rugged, expensive vehicles to do that. Those are
must
their excuses.
Nice.
So once again, it's really just realizing that the current Nigerian government, even as much as they're telling citizens to tighten their belt and which other words they're using, has no interest whatsoever in saving money or protecting Nigeria's income. They have no interest whatsoever in reducing the wastage in government, and that's why they want to spend more, billions of naira on palliatives to basically dash out tiny bags of rice and 2, onions and a few tomatoes or oil, and that's to even those who get. where a lot of these funds never really get to the people who are, who they are meant for. And at the same time, it is, fair to also mention that no matter how many people you give palliatives, it will never solve the problem of actual poverty in Nigeria. It will never take anybody out of poverty. It will never reduce the suffering by giving somebody, 5 cups of rice. And
so what we're doing is temporary measures to
it's
solve.
not even a temporary measure. It's silly. It's to the best, and then that's me putting it light or mildly. It's silly to keep giving out these things to Nigerians. It's not like we're in a pandemic or anything. But of course, the Nigerian government still doesn't understand it. So we'll continue to do these things and would realize after 4 years that trillions of naira have once again been wasted, and we have achieved absolutely nothing. What do you think 3.2 trillion naira will be able to achieve for us with regards to our oil refineries? What do you think 3.2 trillion naira will be able to achieve for us with electricity? What do you think it would achieve for us with infrastructure? What do you think it would achieve for us with education or with healthcare, with security? If we channel these funds that we're talking about now, even if I don't think all of it is going to go on palliatives, it's probably to pay back loans. But if we channel some of these funds, better, do you think Nigeria will be better in the next 2 years? Absolutely. Do you think Nigerians would have more faith in what the government is doing? I believe so also. But
my response to all of this, I've been trying to remember the actual lyrics, but that thing that says, if we begin to leave decisions to the poorest of the poor, the poorest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm making reference to.
Anyway,
final story here is fuel imports go up 843 billion naira. Stakeholders lament inactive refineries. Yet again, we are back to the foundation of our problems.
The story there, the pictures there, nightclub workers face prosecution for assaulting LASEPA officials. I just never knew that there was nightclub in that building. That's
Where is this building?
Where I live, on Admiralty.
Oh, wow.
All right, let's move away from the Punch newspapers, go to the Daily Independent and see what we can find over there. It says there, return to managed float way out of Naira crisis. I'm not sure what that means. Says experts. Also, the world knows you are a forger. Atiku tackles Tinubu, says his change of name well documented. We can also find on the Daily Independent newspapers this morning, no law ending HND degree holders dichotomy yet, says the NUC. And also on the Daily Independent, Serap urges Akpabio Abbas to reject social media regulation bill. It's a conversation that we're going to be having this morning still. Middle East war could widen beyond Israel. Hamas, a U.S. official warns. And also stranded Nigerians in the U.S. over non-issuance of passports call on federal government to intervene. Benue government lists how he will offset 359 billion naira inherited debts. Same, bits of criticism the Osun State governor is also having for promising to offset some of these debts, in a few months after he takes over office, which, wasn't really realistic, if we're being honest. NDLEA detains 2 wanted drug barons, nabs 2 others for ingesting 175 wraps of heroin. And analysts thumbed down AMCON's 10 years in aviation industry. Query interventions in Arik Air, aero contractors, 1 financial books of 2 airlines in public. These are the major stories on the Daily Independent. Yes, the conversations on certificate forgery have not gone away, just yet. The PDP presidential candidate, of course, is making the headlines once again, attacking the Nigerian president of forging his certificates. Those conversations continue, and of course, Nigerians are fingers crossed to see what the Supreme Court eventually rules. These are the stories on the Daily Independent. Now, from the Daily Independent, let's go to the Guardian newspapers.
And on the Guardian newspaper, the big story there says, firms scale down production, opt for trade over FX income concerns on page 6. Disposable incomes, FX challenge force manufacturers to adjust business models. And that's not that's nothing surprising. We're seeing different companies here. Well, there are some very interesting measures that have taken place. Diageo products that may no longer be in Nigeria from 2024. So they are the number of products that will not be in Nigeria from 2024. Unilever as well will not have some products from 2024. GSK will now use third parties to distribute pharmaceutical products. We did talk about it when GSK, GlaxoSmithKline was leaving a few months ago. They were leaving the country. So now they will use third parties. PZ plans delisting from Nigerian exchange. So these are some of the measures or the impacts that we would see based on the FX challenges that is plaguing the manufacturing industry. Taxes paid by manufacturers in 2023 increased from 115%, that is from 192 billion naira in the first quarter to 414.5 billion in the second quarter. We have importers grown over 200% surge in duty amid naira fluctuation, anxiety as MTEF yet to arrive, National Assembly 2 months after deadline. Telecoms operators may sue banks over 120 billion naira USSD debt. Netanyahu adamant vows to demolish Hamas amid global condemnation. Heal the environment, eliminate gas flaring. And final story, Khan blames poor leadership for Nigeria's exclusion from UN Council. That's all we have on The Guardian. Let's head to our last paper, The Tribune.
Okay, all right. The Nigerian Tribune, this morning it says there, PDP, LP disagree with APC over INEC's assurance. And that's with regards the Bayelsa, Kogi, Imo elections. And I don't think it's just the PDP or the Labour Party. I think it's more than, a handful of Nigerians. At this rate, will no longer trust INEC's word. When INEC says that an election would be free, fair, credible, and whatnot, a lot of Nigerians would take that with a pinch of salt. When they say results will be uploaded, to the INEC servers, and those are the results that would be legally binding, for the elections, yes. A lot of Nigerians will not take them seriously either. When they say that their polling units would be safe for Nigerians to vote and that people will be able to vote from, certain time in the morning till voting closes, maybe 2 p.m. or 4 p.m., Nigerians will not take them seriously either. There's almost nothing that the Independent National Electoral Commission will promise Nigerians today that Nigerians will take them seriously and, and believe, mostly because of how the 2023 elections were handled and how they were carried out, and how INEC, of course, has refused to take responsibility for the places where it failed woefully as an electoral body. And I mean woefully in capital letters. These things would never just be wiped away, with time. Time would not erase the memory of Nigerians as to what happened with the 2023 elections. The issues, that existed with those elections. And it's not just INEC, it also includes security agencies in Nigeria that couldn't protect voters, that were being brutalized and being threatened and being chased away, including people who made threats to certain people from a different, maybe supporters of a different political party or from a different tribe, to not come out to vote, that till date have still not been arrested or being questioned for what they said or what they did during the elections. And so Nigeria's electoral process, no matter how much it is painted, will almost never gain, the credibility that, that it seeks. Still on the Nigerian Tribune this morning,